Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:04. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody wants to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So seeing no citizens here for comments, we'll move on to the committee member comments. We'll start with the people who are joining us virtually. Bob, do you have any comments?
I'm just glad to be back. I'm sorry I had so many meetings, but I have a trouble with my leg. They found what it was. I need a new hip. I told that to Larry. And I already made the appointment with the orthopedic, the surgeon. So if I can go this way, I can attend the meeting. My walking has got progressively worse out of one leg. So I apologize for not being there.
Well, we're glad to have you back and participating.
Thank you.
Yep. Amy, any comments?
I just wanted to say thanks for letting me join virtually. I feel like I have a cold. I got a little low-grade fever, and I just didn't want to expose you guys in person. So thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you. Teresa, any comments? Okay. Roberta, who is joining us for the first time. She is the appointee by the Municipal Regulations Committee. Roberta,
that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm back on the committee, on the Muni Regs appointee. I'm in Precinct 7. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Roberta. Fran?
No comments. No comments.
Becca, no.
No comments.
Okay, and I just had a couple of comments. I think last time I announced that Brian Holmes had resigned from the committee. Peter Brown has resigned from the committee this time, so we are at 8 members, which means that we now need a quorum of 5 for a quorum to conduct business.
Is this one good? It was just by itself. Oh wait, no, it's good.
And those are my only comments for right now. So we'll move on to approval of the Charter Review Committee minutes for the 9/29/22 meeting, and that's Appendix A.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
And have a second.
I'll second that, Larry.
All right. Is there any feedback on the minutes? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote to approve. Bob, what's your vote?
I abstain. I wasn't there.
Oh.
And honestly, I read the minutes, and I don't think it's fair I should vote for something that I wasn't there participating in. So I abstain, Larry.
Okay, thank you. Amy?
I'm for, yes.
Okay, thank you. Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, Roberta?
Abstain.
Fran?
Yes.
And Becca?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. All right. So the first order of business now is the final draft proposed charter amendment for polling locations, and that's Appendix B. This has been discussed quite a bit by the committee, and so this is a final draft that I hope that we can get approved and voted on tonight. Is there any feedback on this final draft? Any discussion?
Larry, one question. Did Stephanie see this, knowing what we're going to send out or go to town meeting with? Did Stephanie see the final draft?
No, Stephanie has not seen the final draft. She did come and discuss with us.
Yeah, I was there.
So I'm sorry, Bob, what was that?
He was there.
Oh, you were there, okay. But no,
was
she
there.
hasn't seen the final draft.
One question, and I don't want to hop on this, but my opinion is she should read it whether she likes it or not, but just let her know what we're pushing out at this town meeting. I know she said whatever we do, or we said, if it has to be changed, we can adapt and change it. But I would really like to see her see it, say it's fine, and then approve it.
Okay, any other discussion?
This article is the same thing we discussed when Stephanie was here. So I don't think there's any changes. I don't recall that we made any changes since she was here.
Okay, there weren't any changes to the actual motion. There was the notes at the bottom were added.
Those are for us to speak of when we go to town meeting. So I'm comfortable voting on this tonight, considering Stephanie was here when we talked about it, and we haven't changed anything that we discussed with her.
If that's the case, I'll vote yes for this. I will.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Okay,
My question was answered. Thank you.
all right, any other discussion? Okay, then we'll go ahead and take the vote. Bob?
Yes.
Okay, Amy?
Yes, but do we have written down who made the motion?
We don't have a
Just so I
motion
can
yet.
put it in my notes.
I'll make
I
a
don't-
motion to adopt Appendix B, final draft proposed, Article 20, to change the wording of Section C8-3 to address polling places in the town of Stoughton.
Second.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. So I'll start the vote again. Bob?
Yes.
All right, Amy?
Yes.
Teresa? Yes. Roberta?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Becca?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. All right. So that will be submitted to the select board for inclusion in the warrant for the spring town meeting. All right. Next is Appendix C, which is the Charter Review Committee, another piece that has been discussed quite a bit in the Charter Review Committee. And what we had decided to do was to go with a bylaw change rather than a change to the charter that would establish the Charter Review Committee as an advisory committee to the Stoughton Representative Town Meeting, and then it lays out basically what the duties of the Charter Review Committee are and basically how they would conduct business. Just any discussion? Do people want a minute to review it one more time?
Yeah, I'm just reviewing it for a
Okay,
sec.
all right.
All right, since I'm new at this, sorry, but why are we changing what the Charter Review Committee already does? What are the changes? In a nutshell.
Basically, what we have is a bylaw that really doesn't give us any direction or tells us what we can do. I mean, it's very vague.
Right.
And I talked to town council about it, and he recommended that we do a bylaw that kind of describes, lays out what the committee does. It would not become a standing committee, which had been discussed in the past. The issue with that was that it would take 2 charter changes to allow the municipal regs representative to participate if it were a standing committee, because the charter doesn't allow people to be on 2 standing committees. So by not making it a standing committee, that allows the makeup to remain the same. And it does, in section B, it does put the parameters on the committee that are part of the state law, that we, because we are not a charter commission, which we'll be discussing after this, we are not allowed to make or recommend changes that impact the composition, mode of election or appointment, or terms of office of the legislative body, which is town meeting, or the select board or the town manager. So we just wanted to make that clear, that we are limited by state law from those topics.
Can I just interrupt?
Yes.
So why isn't the school committee part of that?
School committee part of?
Part of.
Which one?
Part of this thing, the legislative body, the town meeting, select board of the town manager. I mean, the school committee is a huge part of the town. Was it just overlooked, or is there a reason?
I just took the language from the state law. So
Okay.
the state law doesn't mention the school committee in that.
They all, Larry,
Yes.
there's a lot of stuff in the state laws, the same as like we can't touch their budget, we can't touch this. We're very limited, and I think if we want to eventually add on to the school, we've got to be very careful what we do here, because they're under certain laws that I don't even know. Maybe someone else does. But I know they're like an individual of the town, an individual branch most of the time,
Right.
I think.
Well, we could certainly add the language in that includes school committee.
Well, I don't know if it's right or wrong. That's why I just, they are a big part. I mean, I understand this would have to go to legal, I hate to say it,
Yeah.
but I guess I look at it this way. We're not trying to do any of these things right now. This has been fumbling and bumbling for 5 years, and I don't think anybody wants to change the select board town manager, and if they did, it would have to go through town meeting and to the voters. So we just can't willy-nilly change things. It has to go through the town. This is the town charter, not town meeting charter, it's the town charter. And I think there'd be enough people fighting if we wanted to do something radical of this committee. You'd be heard on town meeting floor. And then, like I said, it would have to go to the voters. I just don't know if doing this may hurt us because we forgot something or did something wrong and, well, you didn't put that in, or you put, I'd just let it go, but.
Well, we have it in under amendments. This bylaw may be amended from time to time by a majority vote of the town meeting. And the same thing, like if this gets through, this thing written as is would still have to go through and get a majority vote by town meeting. So.
And the voters, and pass on the ballot.
Can I say something, please?
Yes.
It also, you made a good remark at the front. It gives us guidelines, what we're doing, telling people what we're doing. Instead of floundering around and going through articles every year, we have something at least to start with. If it doesn't pass, then we go back and start and do something again. But it's a start to tell you what the Charter Review Committee does. I don't think we're stepping on anyone's toes in any of this stuff going through. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
I don't think you're wrong.
We don't know, right, yeah,
I mean, we talked about this years and years. What do we do? So now we do something. And Roberta, you're absolutely right. But it starts the direction of what the Charter Review, we're doing something. And that's important.
Any other? Yes, Fran.
I think my mic triggers some buzzing, but I think my comment would be, if Roberta made a good point, why would we submit something that has something left out as so important as the school committee? Like, that's a pretty big word. So I think that we should at least, before we vote on moving this forward, find out about that word, even if it's from legal, school committee. That's a pretty, why would we want to keep going back to town meeting for a vote if it's not really good, like good enough that there's no questions that we can't answer? So.
Okay.
I think are you for zoning? Yes. It's in that room.
Okay,
Okay.
it's okay. Okay, well, that's something we could consider doing. There are other,
What would the next step be if we were going to go try to add that or figure out whether or not we should be adding that?
well, I could take it to legal counsel and get their opinion as to whether that's necessary or not. That piece is not in the state law. The other language is. So I don't know, I didn't write the state law, so I don't know why it's not included. It may be that the school committee is already prescribed, in other parts of the state law. Playing musical microphones.
I have sorry, can I have a question?
Yes, Amy.
What do we think the school committee is if it's not a municipal department or a town committee? Like, doesn't that encompass both the department that is the school system and the committee that is the school committee?
Well, see, what this says, you have the law there?
So I pulled up the charter. The school committee of the town shall consist of 5 members who shall be elected at large for a term of 3 years. Of the members elected at the first regular April election under this charter, the 2 receiving the greatest number of votes cast shall serve for 3 years. The next 2 shall serve for 2 years, and the 1 receiving the 5th highest number of votes cast shall serve for 1 year. In subsequent elections, as their terms of office expire, members shall be elected for 3-year terms. School committee members may receive compensation, if any shall be authorized by state statute, provided an appropriation is made for that purpose. They may also receive the actual and necessary expenses incurred by them in the performance of their duties within the limits of an appropriation made for that purpose and subject to such standards as may be established by rule or by bylaw. And the rest of that goes into salary. And then we have powers and duties and filling vacancies. So for powers and duties, the school committee shall have all of the powers and duties school committees may have under the Constitution and general laws of the Commonwealth, which are not specifically assigned to some other office by this charter, and shall submit the school department budget to the town manager on or before the 31st day of December for inclusion in the annual town government budget. And then the last part just says filling vacancies. School committee vacancies shall be filled by a majority vote of a joint meeting of the select board and the school committee with at least a quorum of each group present and voting.
Okay, so that's from the Stoughton Town Charter.
That's within, Article 5, C5-1, C5-2, C5-3.
Okay, so Amy, I guess the issue is that the wording in A says that it's in B. That any change in the charter relating in any way to the composition, mode of election, of appointment, or terms of office of the legislative body or the select board or town manager, that's taken right from the state law. School committee is not mentioned in that.
Oh, I think I was unclear. I thought we were concerned that we wouldn't be able to make changes to school committee, but it
Not
sounds like
hearing
you
you
want to
if you're
put them
saying
in
something,
B
Amy.
so that we can't make changes.
Amy, are you muted?
I'm not. Can you no longer hear me?
Okay, we're not hearing you right now.
Sorry. Any chance you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Apparently Bob and I can only speak to each other.
That's good. I make a motion, we adjourn, okay? If you can't be here, let me sign
Amy,
up.
give us the thumbs up if you're speaking, please, because we cannot hear you.
Yeah, you guys can
Okay,
hear me?
we cannot hear you. Hold on.
Okay.
You can hear it out of the TV, but not out of the speakers. It's coming out of the TV, not the speakers.
This is modern technology, Amy.
Amy, can you say something?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear
IT to
you.
the rescue.
I don't think they can hear you either, Bob.
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? They can't hear. They heard Roberta. Roberta, can they hear you?
Roberta's in person though.
Oh, she's in. We the only ones on the telephone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we can hold our own meeting and tell them the results later.
I
It's
think-
not your phone. It's their technology that they have to fix.
Yeah, if we can hear each other, then I think it's definitely on their end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so too.
Did he fix her?
I think they have someone from SMAC there, so hopefully they can figure it out.
I think I'm just gonna wait. And if I wait too long, I'm gonna hang up and go take some painkillers.
You'll be done for the night.
We can't hear them
Uh,
out of the speaker.
Oh, I've had a rough time, believe me. Hasn't been a good month. Hasn't been since June. I've been hurting. It's getting worse too.
My father-in-law, when he had his hip replaced, it was rough for a week or two, but then he just felt like 10 years younger.
It's a lot different. I had two knees, so they say this is a breeze.
I was gonna say, you gotta press it to speak.
Yeah, they say knees are way worse than hips.
Oh yeah, as I said, I've been going to a non-invasive. She runs the spine clinic
Was
at the
working
Baptist. Larry, can you hear us? Larry,
They don't look like they can see us. They look like they're all looking at someone off screen.
well, I'll stay here a little while longer. No, but as I said, they gave me a test for my hip. I never knew there was a test to tell you if your hip is bad. So I went there the other day. I got on the table, and they injected me with something that could stop the... Can we hear them? So one of them worked, the other one didn't. The doctor called me today and says, Bob, you just call the doctor, which I have one of the best at the Baptist, and make an appointment. I thought I could get in a week, but he's booked 3 weeks in advance. So the only good thing is the girl that does the booking, the surgery, I took very good care of her when I had my knee. And so I hope she'll get me in. I want to get first thing in the morning, and I want an epidural, and then they can put me
So
to sleep.
I'm just going to go ahead on and talk, and we won't
Larry,
have any votes
can you
till
hear us?
Bob and Amy can make their comments. But actually, this isn't state law, so if we just wanted to add in the school committee, I mean, that's not going to make any difference. If, I think it makes sense if we're not going to do anything to impact the select board, we wouldn't do it to the school committee either.
Right.
So I think we can just amend this to add in school committee.
I think we should check with the attorneys.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say,
I would
Roberta?
just check with the attorneys before. We don't want to go up
Okay.
in front of town meeting and...
Yep. All right. So does somebody want to make that
I'll make a
amendment?
motion for you to contact town council regarding adding the school committee to section B.
B, sorry,
It was
B.
B.
Yeah, okay.
I'll,
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. We'll hold on a vote on that. Are there any other comments or questions about any of the rest of it?
No.
Okay. So we really need to have
We have the-
Bob and Amy.
We have 5 people that
You guys can't hear us yet?
have the votes to leave. That would continue on. I mean, if we can't get them back, what are we supposed
Yeah.
to do?
That's your it's not,
We have
it's their technology, it's not us.
Yeah, we do. I don't,
Right.
They can hear us.
We can hear you, you can't hear us.
okay,
Yeah. I don't know if they can see us or not.
let's give them a minute.
I
and then
can't
we'll-
see, I can't see them either.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm on camera, so I can see them.
Oh,
See,
they
I'm
just
not
gave
sure
me a
I know how
number,
to
I
do-
can't.
We could conference them in on the phone.
And call Larry on his cell phone, and maybe he can conference us in.
Well, that's what he was just saying.
Yeah, but he didn't tell us to
there a
do
Zoom
anything
link?
yet.
No.
No, it's a Google Meet,
It's a Google Meet.
yeah. Oh,
I figure, Amy, they need our votes. They don't have a quorum there.
Well, they do. Oh, wait. They have
Mine isn't.
1,
I'm
2, 3.
Okay.
They have 5 people there in person.
Okay, they do. Well,
Do you have the code?
yeah, it should be, do you have the invitation? It should have updated.
Oh, okay, hang on, let me go to the different accounts. Join with Google Meets. You have to let me in.
Okay.
Oh, Bob, they sent us a message asking us to leave the meeting and then join back again. So I'm going to try and do that.
okay, let me
Okay.
write this down.
Yep, that's me. Well,
I don't know where Amy just went.
Bob, can you hear me?
Bob, can you hear me? Bob?
Now they're both gone.
Amy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so it's going to echo, but I'm putting you on my phone so that way we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I'm
I'm gonna try.
going to try.
All right, I put you on mute. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay. Well,
Should we tell them the motion they made?
okay. Did,
Into your microphone.
sorry. Did you hear the motion?
No.
Okay. So, Roberta, do you want to repeat your motion?
Sure. I made a motion to have Larry contact town council to see if school committee should be added to section B.
Yes.
And so we will take no action on this as of now.
Well,
Is that going to be held, is this going to be carried over to the next meeting?
Yes.
well, we
Okay.
should take a vote to agree to
Okay.
that motion. But
Okay.
Otherwise, yes, we'll hold it over till next meeting.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Did Amy get on? Is Amy on?
yes, Amy is on. All right,
Okay,
so
thank
I'm going to take a vote on Roberta's motion. Bob,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Roberta,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Becca,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Okay, so that will, oh, are there any other comments on this bylaw recommendation for town meeting? Okay, hearing none, I will hold this over, table it until next meeting, and hopefully I can get in touch with town council. However, that may be complicated by Thanksgiving, because he's only in the office on Thursday mornings. So we'll see if I can get it. Would be on the date of the next meeting, which is December 3rd.
Okay. So if we have to wait another, you have to wait another 2.
Okay, you're actually now coming through the speaker. I don't know what changed, but Amy, could you say something just to see if you are?
Yeah, can you hear me? No.
Oh.
Bob, can you say something again?
Can you hear me?
Okay, it's back to the, for a
We're
couple of
we're
seconds,
getting
we
cut
heard
out
it through
some-
the speaker, but
We're going to have to come out. This isn't going to work, I don't think. Nice talking to you, Amy. I'm cutting out.
okay, Bob, now we can hear you through the,
The phone?
Amy, can you speak?
Yep, can you hear me?
yes. Okay, now we're hearing you both through the television.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to item number 8, which is a discussion of drafting a resolution to select board to form a charter commission, and that's Appendix D. And what I have in Appendix D are the state laws about forming a charter commission. You know, it's something that has been brought up to this committee in the past. A charter commission would be allowed to make changes that would impact the composition, mode of election or appointment or term of office of a legislative body or the select board or a town manager. And the other issue that had been brought up by some members of the committee was the consideration of a change in government. So I just felt like we should have a discussion about whether or not this committee wants to propose to the select board that they begin the process of forming a charter commission. The laws that I included in Appendix D are the ones that would affect that. And the process would be if the select board wanted to move forward with a charter commission, they would need to get 15% of the registered voters to sign a petition, and then they would have to hold an election. You know, and then they would basically kind of take over what we're doing. So I guess that's what's on the table. Is that something, do we want to propose that to the select board, or not do that and just continue as we have been and hopefully get this bylaw in place and make any changes or updates to the charter in the areas that we are able to make changes.
Would you, Larry?
Yes, Bob.
I get pros and cons of this. First of all, if you get an independent board up there that would understand to have independent people like we have now to work on things, disagree on things, that you might get a board up there that will put all the wrong people on here, try to push through their laws through town meeting, and it might end up to be a disaster. I'm only giving you the pros are, we have a committee now that's together, that we meet, and we do some good work. We are getting a lot better at this as the group stays together long enough, and no one's afraid to say, I disagree with you with that, and we all are different people in life, different thoughts, and that's what I like about the way the committee is today. Once I put the selectmen's hand in this, I don't think it should be there. I don't know the alternate to this, but I'm just looking. We might not have the right boards in there at the right time, and they might stack the deck. And that's about all I have to say, Larry.
Okay. Other thoughts, comments? Yes, Amy.
I thought it was my understanding that it wasn't, if it became a charter commission, that it's voted on by the people, not appointed by the select board. Am I
Yes,
understanding that incorrectly? Okay.
you are correct. They have to initiate the process of holding the election, and it requires 15% of the registered voters to sign a petition saying they want a charter commission. So it's a little more work than I didn't realize that till I went and checked out the law on it.
Okay, so then I think hopefully that would address Bob's concern about the select board being able to kind of pack the commission if it's voted on by the whole town.
No, the question I have, Andy, is once they form it, who do they put on the committee? Who appoints the committee? Is it an election?
Yes, there's an election, Bob.
Right, I mean, election appoint these people.
No, don't people run for it?
Vote, yes.
Yeah, people have to run for the charter commission. And
Okay.
the state law says it's 9 people.
9 people, okay.
Yeah. Other opinions, thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, we brought this up a few meetings ago because we are hamstrung, this committee in its current form is hamstrung based upon what legal counsel advised. And so the thought was we continue doing as much as we can do within the parameters, but for any real additional change, a charter commission with elected people is an option that we should put to the voters to see if they want this for the town. Because the commission has broader leeway on what they can accomplish in regards to the charter than what this committee can do. So I don't think anything's changed since we've started down this road, correct?
Right. No, the only change is that we have the laws now that spell out clearly what the process is, but other than that, no, I would say nothing's
Okay.
changed.
I mean, I still think that based upon the information we were given by legal counsel about what this committee is capable of doing in regards to the charter, I do think this is a worthwhile endeavor.
Okay, Roberta.
So my thought is, so who's going to collect the 15% of the signatures? Could the select board just do this on their own? Are they going to collect 15% of the signatures? Let's just say you and I want to have a charter commission, and we go get signatures, and we get the people to vote. I just think it seems kind of odd that we would have to collect signatures to just get a ballot question, a town ballot question. Could the select board just do this on their own and throw it on the ballot?
Not according to the law. If you look at the first one on D, Section 3, it says the adoption of a charter, well, let me
Yeah, no, I,
make sure I get to the right place. Okay. Yeah, so it's the adoption of a charter for any city or town under Section 2(3), blah, blah, blah. The Constitution and the revision of any charter so adopted shall be initiated by filing with the Board of Registers of Voters of the city or town a petition signed by at least 15% of the number of registered voters residing in said city or town at the preceding state election. So,
all right, so if it's already state law, why do we have to adopt it? Right now, if I wanted to make a charter change, I could just follow those rules and do it, correct?
no, if that applies to forming a charter commission.
Excuse me, that's what I meant. So I don't need whatever we're going to adopt. I can just go by that state law right now and start collecting signatures. So I don't know why we need to adopt it.
Well, the question is, do we as a committee want to propose to the select board that they initiate forming a charter commission? That's really the question, is does the committee feel like we should ask them to adopt a charter commission?
Are we going to make a recommendation?
Yeah,
That's-
it's just a
it's
recommendation.
basically
Board is the question.
What?
I guess I don't understand why you...
Well, you could do it on your own
Right.
as well. I don't know. No one has said on the board they want to do that they want to be responsible for collecting the 15% of the signatures.
I mean, if I may,
But-
to split it down the middle, we could bring it to the select board and say, this is our recommendation, if you would like to run with it, or is this something you'd like the Charter Review Committee to work on? I mean, if we think that as a committee, our scope is limited, and we think the town is better served by a commission, I like the idea of going to the select board and giving them the opportunity to say yes or no and give their input. Regardless, if they say no, they have other things that they're working on. And if this is something that we as a committee think is important for the future of Stoughton, then we can still move ahead with it. Not so much that we're asking for the permission, but I would say we're including them in the decision-making and giving them the opportunity, if they think it's worthwhile, something they want to work on. I mean,
Okay. I understand what you're saying. I guess the question is, does the Charter Review Committee think we should move toward, regardless of how we do it, should we move toward a charter commission?
so that's the first question.
That's the first question, really.
And could you remind me, and so Roberta understands, why we thought we should move to a charter commission?
Well, like I said, I think there are two pieces to it. One is that there were some committee members who would like the town to consider other forms of government. And then the second one is that if we felt that there were needs in the charter to change, let me just make sure I've got the language here right. Any changes in the charter relating in any way to the composition, mode of election or appointment or terms of office of the legislative body or the select board or town manager. So if we, just as an example, something I've heard some discussion around is, do we have too many town meeting members in each precinct because they're having trouble filling all of those seats? So that's not something the charter committee could make a change to, because that's the composition of the legislative body. That would require a charter commission. Or if we thought they should have 7 select board members instead of 5, we can't make those kinds of changes or recommend those kinds of changes.
Well, somewhere along the line, we had 7, and we cut it down to 5. I mean, I've been in this town forever, but it wasn't, I was working, so it had to be in the last 30 to 40 years.
Yeah.
We had 7 selectmen. So, I don't know if there was a big to-duty over it, and it was definitely after 76, I can tell you that, when this charter commission was done. So, I don't know how they got away with it back then. You understand where I'm going?
Anybody can get away with anything as long as nobody challenges them. The concern is if someone comes back and challenges it, we are then going against our own charter.
Well, I'm not asking anybody to do anything like that, but I'm just saying, we did have 7 and we went down to 5, so.
Without a charter commission.
I was out of high school. This was changed in 77. I was still in high school.
Yeah, no evidence that there was a charter commission
Right.
since the initial one.
Right.
I mean, I'm not aware of anything. I haven't been here that long.
And that's like when we had less precincts. Also, town grew, we had more precincts. That's why that thing is just being changed now. So, you guys can take a vote if you don't let me hold you up.
Well, can we, I don't know if there's any more discussion, but I think the first question needs to be answered. Do we think the town should establish a charter commission? Any other discussion?
And Larry,
Yes, Bob.
we could do this on our own. That's all you had to do is you said get 15% of the vote and do it ourselves. The selectmen might not even like this idea either, and just not even take it up. They'll do that too.
Right, you're right, we could do that if we, but I just right now, I don't know what the committee
Well,
thinks.
that's the question. Does the committee want to do this? The committee want to stay? How much power? We're not going to gain any power or anything. Maybe change the rules a little. I don't know where you can change the rules. So I don't know what we gain out of this. I mean, if we vote this, we could do it ourselves. You think the selectmen are going to go out and get 1,500 signatures? I'd put $100 down that they wouldn't even think of it.
You- I didn't- All right, I'm just going to take a vote to see if the committee thinks we should move
Right.
ahead, because there's no, if there's not a majority, then there's no point even discussing this further, I guess.
Right.
All right, so Bob, what, are you in favor of well, actually, let me do it in a motion. Well, actually,
Well, the
somebody else.
question is are we speaking about moving it forward in general or moving it forward to the select board?
Why can't we
This is
take a
just-
consensus vote?
I guess all I need to know, and I guess it's not an official vote, really, it's,
No, a
does the-
consensus vote isn't a vote, it's just getting the feel of the committee.
yeah, and that's all. So, Bob, are you in favor of the town forming a charter commission?
I would vote yes now, but I could vote no later on in this, because I want to see how the picture ends up at the end of this, how this all comes about. Now I would say yes.
Okay,
But I want to see how the end piece comes out. That's what I'm trying to say.
all right,
Right now, I'll vote yes.
okay. Amy?
I think as of now, I would vote no. I think the committee's finally making some progress. This is such a huge project. It feels like it's going to derail us, and that's going to be like the end of, we're going to just spend all of our time working on this one issue.
Okay, thank you. Teresa? Yeah.
Honestly, my concern is, and maybe I'm thinking way far ahead, but I'm like, who is actually going to want to be on the commission and go through all this process? It seems like a lot of work. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get my head straight about what it is that our committee, we do. So I don't think I'm ready to vote yes on this yet. Seems like a lot of work.
Okay, so are you saying no?
I'm saying no.
Okay. Roberta?
I'm saying no because I can't wrap my head around the fact that to even talk about changing something, you need to get 15% of the signatures. We're not changing it. To talk about changing it, it just boggles my mind, so I'm going to go with no.
Okay, Fran?
I'm going to vote no right now. I agree with Amy and Teresa. I think that we're moving forward on, we're taking small steps, and I hate to just run into something where I'm not comfortable, and I think I have to do more research on this. And having Roberta new here, I think that I want to hear her thoughts, moving forward.
Okay. Becca?
I would vote yes, because, again, this goes back to what we as a committee are capable and able to do. So we had talked previously that we would continue on the path that we're on in conjunction with looking at a charter commission and what that would entail. So I'm still of that mind.
Okay. And I would vote yes, and it's really just to keep it open on the table as a possibility down the road, because we will already, the majority has voted no. So we'll take that off of the table. If somebody wants to bring it up at some point in the future, and there is the part that I personally am not that interested in collecting the signatures for 15% of the people. The registered voters. It does seem like a lot of work, and it would probably be a year or more before it would even get to the point of the election. So, okay. So that takes care of number 8. So number 9 basically is there just that we can talk about any of the articles. I think what we want to do is determine for the next meeting where we want to go, because we'll have the charter bylaw to discuss, but then I think we're ready to start looking at the charter and looking at the areas that need to be updated or changed that are within the scope that we're allowed to do under the state law. So what I would ask, I don't think tonight we necessarily want to start digging into it, but I'd like to get some opinions from the committee on what area of the charter would you like us to focus on to begin?
Larry,
Yes, yes, Bob.
if you went to vote, which I'm sure a lot of people voted, I can tell you that, you noticed there were new equipment there called, I think they were called pen pads, whatever they were. And it saved a lot of time. It appeared that to some people it was a waste of time. But at the end of the night, instead of tallying, it was all in this little machine. The question came up. You had to ask two questions. Would you like to show the back of your license, which contains your name and address? I don't know how much more was on the back of that, but I presume that that's all that we want. And or we could put the first three letters of your first and last name in. And I honestly believe, and I don't know if we could start identifying and coordinate with this machine to have voter IDs to put in this machine, so it would make it a lot easier when we vote. And I don't know if we're violating the law of privacy by doing this, or can we actually do our own voter ID in conjunction with these machines, so it would make voting a lot easier.
We can't. This committee cannot touch voting.
Yeah, that,
Okay.
actually, Bob, that I think would fall under the mode of election, and so that we can't,
Yeah, okay. I
yeah.
just wanted to bring it, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it appeared to be a hang-up. I was there, so I saw it, and as long as it goes, I might even go to the voter registrar and say to her, there's got to be, I don't know if we, as a town, can have our own voter ID. I just don't know. But it would make things a lot easier. Some people are for it, some against it. Privacy laws come in. I really don't know. But if you say we can't do it, so let's go on to something else.
Yeah, I do think that probably falls under state law, but I'm not an expert in that area.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so is there any part of, Amy, you,
Yeah, I read through the charter again since the last meeting and made a list of thoughts I had on things that I thought could get changed or updated, and the majority of them fall in Article 7, which is town meeting. So I would love to spend some time to look through that to see if there's sections we should be updating.
okay.
I can give you specifics if you want them, but it didn't sound like you necessarily did.
Well, yeah, let's see if people have other thoughts of areas, or if they want to agree that would be a good area to address. Any other?
I agree, that's a good area to address.
Okay.
Town meeting, yes.
I'm fine. Obviously, things haven't been going in order for a few years, so it's just kind of, but we should go through the whole thing. But I do have a question.
Yes.
So this Appendix B, are you going to be submitting that to the select board to get on town meeting for the spring town meeting?
Yes.
At the end of by the end of the year?
Yes.
Okay, because we only got a month. I mean, you got a month to get it to them.
Okay, yes, so that will go to them. And I would like to get the bylaw done next meeting so that we
Okay,
could,
but this one, at
yes,
least you have
that
this
one,
one, we don't want to, because we have a very short window
yeah,
to get any changes in, so.
okay,
At least we can get that one in.
yes.
And then I guess we have to read Article 7 for our homework.
All right, so are people in agreement, just consensus that we'll begin next meeting after we get the bylaw finished to look at Article 7, and that will be our
Yes.
area. All right, great. So I don't think we need a vote on that, that's just a consensus. All right, our next meeting is scheduled for December 8th at 7 PM, and that is in the room in the back here. This room was not available. And what let me
Can we go with telephones or come in and do it remote for people that can't get up there? I have to see how I work out to go up there.
Okay,
I'd rather do it remote than Larry.
so,
And I think his surgery will come the first of the year.
okay. If you think you will need remote, and this is for anybody, if you could let me know
Yeah,
by the Monday before, it's just so that I can put it into the agenda so that people know that there is a remote option.
okay. Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
All right.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you, everybody. I think we did make some good progress today, and hopefully we'll make some more next week or next time. Yep.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Happy Thanksgiving.